Session 39. The Shadows of Yog Sottoth. A Call of Cthulhu adventure in many parts. Following from our investigations into the Order of the Silver Twilight, our adventurers find themselves at some kind of impasse. You see, the difficulty is that how do you investigate something that you're not actually invited to? The solution to that is not obvious. So, the people started to look at the possibility of being able to infiltrate the organization by becoming masters. That idea was quickly put to one side as it was discovered that it would take many, many months to become a master of the Order of the Silver Twilight. Other ways had to be found. So what could you do to become a master quicker in the Order of the Silver Twilight? Well, there was a couple of things that you could do. The first thing is that you could donate money. That seemed to be the way that many of the masters had actually gained their position. The second is to do something for the Order. If you were in a position of power, for example, someone like a judge, you may be able to influence a judgment cast down upon one of your brothers. Unfortunately, not everybody is in that type of position, so something else had to be thought of. As chance would have it, Josiah was presented with that opportunity. In downtown Boston, there is a house. It's been known for many years to have been haunted, if you believe in such things, of course. Our group was presented with the opportunity to investigate this, Josiah, giving that information to everybody else. Encourage them to look into the past of that house. Who was there? Why is it haunted? It was discovered that many of the home's previous occupants over the years had described situations which could only be described as supernatural or paranormal. These occupants over time had left the property, but it was one occupant, going back many years, a Mr. Corbett, that was the most interesting. You see, he had stated that in his will, he wished to be buried in the basement of the property. This, of course, was not a usual thing. Who would wish to be buried in their own basement, and why would you buy a house after that? It was discovered that a few years ago, a family had moved into the house. 9 months after moving in, the father had a serious accident and went violently insane shortly afterwards. There were rumors that the house was haunted. The landlord wants Josiah to help him either put pay to the rumors or have the house exorcised. From the Boston Library, it was uncovered that in 1835 a wealthy landowner built the house, but sold it for reasons of health to a certain Walter Corbett. In 1852, Mr. Corbett was the subject of a lawsuit by his neighbors, who petitioned to force him to leave the area in consequence of his serious habits and inauspicious demeanor. Evidently, Corbett won the lawsuit, for his obituary in 1866 states that he was still living in the same place. It also states that a second lawsuit was being wagered to prevent Corbett from being buried in his basement, for which his will evidently provided. It does not say whether or not the suit was successful. At the Boston Globe, there was an unpublished article in the archives written in 1918 about the haunted house. It states that in 1880, a family of French immigrants moved into the house but left it again after a series of violent accidents had left the parents dead and 3 children crippled. The property fell vacant until 1909. A family moved in but immediately fell prey to ill health. In 1914, the oldest brother went mad and killed himself with a kitchen knife. The heartbroken family moved out in 1917. A second family moved in, but again moved out almost immediately as they became ill. evidence was uncovered at the records office, stating that the executor of Corbett's will and the main speaker at his funeral, a certain Reverend Michael Thomas, was pastor of the Chapel of Contemplation, the Church of Our Lord, Granter of Secrets. This chapel was closed down in 1912. For police records on the incident as to why the chapel was closed, it was discovered that it was linked to a cult. Our adventurers decided to look into this and went to the Church of Contemplation, now closed. There, in this dark and gloomy place, they found evidence that there was indeed some type of strange, demonic, cult-like behavior. Chained to the pulpit was an enormous volume bound in human skin. The book, written in Latin, was called Solano Fragments. Now armed with a mystery to solve, our adventurers can seek more information about this haunted house. Is it real? Is it not? And when they find out that information, they will have stories to be able to tell at the Order of the Silver Twilight. This must go some way in their quest to become a master and gain further insight as to exactly what is going on behind those curtains.